You're most likely watching this video right now because you care deeply about the financial future of your family farm operation. And maybe you are feeling some pressure or uncertainty on exactly how to keep your legacy alive for future generations. The problem? Well, too many families actually lose their farm operation not because of financial losses, but simply because they did not pass down the right lessons that the next generation can use to actually carry the operation forward into the future. Inside of today's video, I'm going to share powerful strategies you can use to actually protect your farm's legacy, beyond just the finances, the land, or the equipment that you'll be passing down. The lessons that you hear today are things that you will not hear anywhere else, and it is a guarantee that they will help you build a stronger business and family for generations to come. Now, one thing you need to know is that a real legacy to me isn't just about passing down financial assets, whether that be land or equipment or something like that. And what I mean by that is it's about passing down wisdom and values and lessons that you learned over your entire career of running and building the family farm operation. So the primary reason that family farm operations struggle to grow from generation to generation is simply because of that very thing. The mistakes and ultimately lessons taken from those mistakes are not passed down from generation to generation, which means the next generation that you're passing on the operation to, the chances of them repeating the same cycle of mistakes over and over again is extremely, extremely high. And this is the number one reason why you'll see farm operations struggle to grow from each generation. And it's simply because the prior generation did not take note of the mistakes that they made during their 10, 20, 30, 40, or 50 years of running the family farm operation. And what you need to understand is that the next generation coming back, the lessons from those mistakes and really learning what not to do is absolute gold to them. And this is how you stop the cycle of the same mistakes happening generation after generation. And one thing we've always heard from our customers is that, man, they wish they had a book of just all the mistakes and all the lessons from the prior generations ahead of them, because again, it would be absolute gold to them. But one thing you need to remember here is that there's a massive difference between what to do in your business and what not to do. And see, the thing is what to do, it changes every single year. But what not to do, man, that sticks with you forever, which is why this book of valuable insights, lessons, or things that you want to share with the next generation is just absolute gold, because it's really sharing with them what not to do, right? And I think back to our family farm operation, if I had a list of things like that from either my dad or my granddad, even today in a business that I'm running right now that is not directly involved in running a farm operation or running a feed yard or something like that, or similar to our operation where I grew up at, just having those lessons there would still be gold to me, because they would still be relevant no matter what business you're actually in. But in order to actually make this happen, you have to have the discipline as a business owner to be documenting those lessons, because to you, man, they may be painful, they may be things that you don't want to talk about, but you need to understand they may actually save the next generation from making critical mistakes that set the operation back 10, maybe 20 years, or lose hard-earned equity that you spent your entire life building up for the family balance sheet. So these are all critical things that can happen, and the impact you can have even after you're gone if you just document those powerful lessons and put it in an easy format for the next generation to be able to have access to and really use in their day-to-day decision-making on the operation. Now, one quote that I read from a book several years ago that's always stuck with me. The book is called The Road Less Stupid, and the guy that wrote it is a guy by the name of Keith Cunningham. But one quote in there that he said that has always stuck with me is that a majority of success is actually found in what not to do versus what to do. And that's so contradictory to what most people think. Most people stepping in today's world, they want to know what exactly they should be doing next week or next month or next year or whatever to help the operation grow. And what we've learned over the years of working with hundreds of family farm operations and legacy farmer is the fastest path to growth is actually avoiding mistakes and learning what not to do versus learning what to do. Because like I said earlier, what to do changes year after year. What not to do, those lessons are set in stone and you remember them forever. So the number one thing that you can do today is start writing down those lessons, right? And really thinking back over the past 5, 10, 15, maybe 30 years for some of you, and thinking through all those critical lessons and mistakes that either you made, but also too, what were the compounding consequences that came from making that decision? Because that's when life gets really real. And what do I mean by that? The big financial mistakes that you maybe made as a business owner definitely had implications on maybe your marriage, your relationship with your kids, how you treated yourself, all these things here that, again, a lot of people don't want to talk about inside the ag industry, but those are things that are compounding consequences that come from the initial mistake here. And so it's really important when you're writing out these mistakes or lessons that you learn from them to really give context and share exactly what happened in your life and how many things were impacted from one critical wrong mistake that you made inside of the business. And I know this may be difficult or challenging when you do it for the first time, but trust me, your future kids will thank you massively for this. Now, what I kind of hinted at here a little bit was you need to understand the actual compounding consequences and implications that are coming from making these critical mistakes inside of your business. And what do I mean by that? These things have a ripple effect into your marriage, your relationship with your kids, how you treat yourself, how you treat your body, the stories that consume your mind. It just has a lot more implications and impact inside of your life that a lot of people, they don't think about. And I know over a lot of my videos, I've always talked about how, to build a successful business, you have to know your numbers, which you do. But sometimes though, business isn't about the numbers, right? And what do I mean by that? Is the majority of people do come into Legacy Farmer thinking that they have business issues. But one thing that we always uncover though, is once we get the things figured out with business, get them structured and organized financially, for the first time, they have clarity and confidence of where they're going with their operation, all that type of stuff there. But then we still have those underlying issues, those lingering problems in other areas of life, like your marriage, like your body, like your mind here, and the stories that go on up here every single day and consume your mind. All those other things there still exist here. And this is why what we do in Legacy Farmer is so much more comprehensive than just helping somebody know their numbers. It's a comprehensive program here where we're talking about all the critical areas of life, especially your business. But again though, once you solve the business issues, which a majority of our customers coming in, we help them do very quickly. Now we have to actually start navigating and figuring out how to solve the other issues and other critical areas of your life that have went unhandled because you've just been so focused on the business. Now, one thing you really need to understand is that if you really want to build a legacy that your kids are wanting to come back and take over and just proud to take over, as a business owner and just as a person in general, you need to be comfortable talking about these mistakes, and also too the implications that they had in other areas of your life. And I think, we notice this natural progression of people that are maybe older in life and in their 70s and 80s. They have no problem talking about this stuff because they've went through certain periods in their life where they didn't talk about it, and now they're dealing with the weight of that lack of action that they had back then, right? And so as a business owner, it's our responsibility to make sure that we're willing to talk about all the things that we deal with when it comes to building a business, which is not always just going to be finances and numbers and people and that type of stuff, but how does it impact every other part of your life? And I'll go back to things I've said in other videos, but a lot of people coming back to the operation, we have this old school mindset in ag that your lifestyle exists to serve the farm operation. And that's, I have a lot of problems with that, right? It does not connect or set well with me, because the farm is a business and your business should exist to serve the lifestyle that you want to provide, not only for yourself, but especially for your family as well. And those are two different just points of view here that we look at these operations where, yeah, we want to have things structured and organized in a way to where for a fact that the operation is serving your lifestyle. And again, that goes on to passing it on to your kids as well, where your kids aren't going to want to come back to the operation if they're not confident that they're actually going to be able to create the lifestyle that they want from that family farm operation as well. So if you really want to protect your legacy and what you spent your entire life building, you need to be comfortable in having these conversations, and also too creating a safe space for your kids to have these conversations as well. And doing that, we've seen time and time again just have a massive impact on the families that we've worked with inside of Legacy Farm. All right, now to wrap up today's video, guys, some of the things I talked about were pretty heavy, right? And actually taking action on those things, it's even a lot heavier than that. And I can only say that because I've been through it and I've walked that path myself. And it's not easy, but I will tell you it is worth it at the end of the day to really reflect on the mistakes and challenges and things that you've been through in your life, and then get that stuff out, right? And let people know about it. Because again, those lessons to your kids or to people around you that are important people in your life, it's just absolute gold. And again, you can save so many people so much pain and heartache from learning what not to do versus learning what to do. And we've seen that proven out time and time again with the families that we've worked with. But what you need to know is that inside of Legacy Farmer, like I said, it's a comprehensive program. So we're not just talking about business here, we're talking about all of the other critical and important areas of life as well. And we have resources and coaching to help you through those decisions and the hard things that you need to go through. And we've consistently helped our members create a plan on how to solve it as well. So if that's of interest to you, then I invite you to click the link below to learn more about what we do in Legacy Farmer today.